What's going on YouTube? Silver Surfer coming your way again here. This time, just wanted to share with you my 1911 V-nickel. So pretty awesome coin there. We're getting nice and close for you. This one's graded by PCGS, Approved 65, Cameo. So as many of you know, the Cameo designation is going to represent the contrast difference between the fields and devices. As you can see right there, it's a good picture of it. And this would adds to, this is the second to last nickel that I need to complete the 20th century proofs that I've been working on, that I've been sharing with you all my videos here, so pretty excited for that. The last one I need is a Buffalo nickel, which is next on my radar. Anyways, a little bit of history. This coin series here, the V-nickel, has some fantastic historical information with it, and some, just really cool stories as well. And for starters, back in the early 1880s, before this coin was the shield nickel that they had for the 5-cent piece, and that was actually created due to the fact that after the Civil War there was a bunch of uncertainty with how the economic stability would be, and so people are actually hoarding all the different silver coinage. And if you guys are familiar with numismatics, you would know that the Seat of Liberty design, specifically the half dime, or it was worth 5 cents, right? Half dime was the coin in circulation at that time. So instead, they created a nickel that was copper and nickel. So that's the name as well. It came from there. And that first one was the shield. So we had the shield nickel, and in due time, that was not received as well from, I guess it was received from the public pretty well, but the mint had difficulties with actually minting it. Due to the way that the strike and everything else, and the thickness of the planchet and all that. So they wanted a redesign, and the superintendent at the time also wanted to redesign the 1 cent and 3 cent piece. So who did he hire? Mr. Charles Barber, who is the engraver, told him to come up with the design for it. And he did for all three of them, but later the 1 cent and 3 cent was shot down because of metal composition changes they didn't want to do, and a couple of other things as well. But they liked the 5 cent that he created, and it was also, for the most part, going to keep, the same metal, or it was going to keep the same metal content and not be a big change for the U.S. Mint to actually strike these things. So he created some powdered coins, sent it off to the Treasury, and it came back that there was no United States of America on the reverse, as it is right here. You can see it was actually, at that point, for those 25 pattern coins, the original ones Mr. Barber made, was on the obverse. And by law at that time, there needed to be the United States of America. It was only allowed to be on the reverse of the coin. So he had to redesign the coin, again, put the United States of America on here on the reverse. And then they got these suckers in production in 1883, which is the first year. After about the first year or so, or not even the first year, they noticed there was a big outcry of concern when these coins, this is one of the really cool stories, is that when they were first produced in 1883, there was Mr. Barber left out the word cents there, as you can see underneath the V. So the good old counterfeiters that we have back in those days decided to gold plate these things and turn them off onto merchants as $5 gold pieces, which was essentially kind of believable because there was not a lot of the recognition of this coin, because it was relatively new. It was the first year it was issued in that year. And, the $5 gold pieces were also going around at that time. And they also thought, well, it was just easy to pass it off into merchants. And so people got fooled. And there's still some of those around today that are not really expensive or anything like that, but just the story that's attached to them is pretty neat. And the story that it ties in with this V-nickel is what makes it really intriguing. But so anyways, back to the drawing board he went. Mr. Barber added the cents there underneath the V, and then these things were put into production once again with cents. The striking of the amount of them went quite a bit, actually, for over the years. And trying to give you guys a better picture here. And this run of this V-nickel actually lasted for over 30 years. All the way until 1912, and all of the coins were actually struck at the Philadelphia Mint as well, except in 1912, San Francisco and Denver got their hand in it for a short time, and then that was the last year that it was issued. Technically, it was 1912, However, years later after that, there surfaced a 1913 V-nickel. And so historians and stuff started looking at this, like, where the heck did this thing come from? And the origins of it are still not fully clear, but they believe that somebody at the mint, one of the employees most likely, struck one of these unknowingly, or struck, excuse me, 5 of these unknowingly, and passed them off to friends and whatnot. And those 5 coins are, people own those today. They're considered one of the top 3 numismatic coins ever created. And there's a whole slew of history that you can go and read on the 1913 V-nickel, and it's a pretty fascinating story. But anyways, I thought I'd just throw that in there for you guys for a little historical note. But 1912 technically was the last, if you would, business strike year for these things, and proof strike. So I got one that's second to last. And just love this guy, man. This is pretty awesome. With all the historical history that's attached to this coin is what really gets me going for it. You know, it's not the most beautiful design, I would say, but I think this one with the toning that I have on it is just really cool, especially the reflective fields of the cameo designation. I just, you know, this orange peaches kind of streaks that goes on through it is really, really neat, especially in hand. So hopefully I'm capturing that for you guys right now. But anyways, so show you guys once more in the reverse here. But that's kind of the story on the V-nickel. You know, they, unlike the other Barber coinage that was struck, the 25 cents, the dime, and the $50 by Mr. Barber, those, and we call those, right, the Barber quarter, Barber half, and all that. Those are the workhorses of time at that particular moment in history, and they actually held up because of the thickness of the devices and stuff. And so this thing tended to become slick pretty quickly when it was used. But anyway, nonetheless, just a really neat story behind it, and very happy to have this in the collection. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. You learned something new, and until next time, Silver Surfer out.